The following is a local resident producer's program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of Oshkosh Media, the City of Oshkosh, or your video service provider.
Hello, this is Edward Catherine for Making It Happen. Tonight I have Peggy Herzig, and we're going to talk about caregiving. Thanks for joining me, Peggy.
You're welcome.
So, where are you from? Because you're not originally from Oshkosh.
No, I'm from Boulder, Colorado.
So why Oshkosh?
I met somebody before, and then that's how I got here.
Okay.
When I was going to college in Iowa, and then I came here, had kids, but we ended up getting divorced, and now we're...
What did you go to school for in Iowa?
I went to school for business.
Okay. So you have your business degree?
No, I only did 2 years. I never finished.
Okay. Would you ever want to go back still?
Many times I thought about it. Just haven't had the money to do so.
Yeah. And why caregiving?
I have a grandson. His name is Andrew, and he has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
So I thought, because I take care, since the day he was born, I got him every weekend. And so I thought I would give back to society. And I've always, at first I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but no, yeah, I do like it a lot.
How does it make you feel on a personal level?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It feels like I'm giving something back of myself.
Yeah.
Because usually I give my whole self.
Yeah. That's good. And what did you used to do before caregiving?
I worked at Aurora in medical records.
Mm-hmm. And then you also...
And I worked in a nursing home.
Yeah. Which job did you like the best? The caregiving or?
At Aurora.
Aurora. What did you like about working at Aurora?
Well, I was in medical records. I did the filing and taking charge to the doctors and looking for information that the doctors need. But they no longer need that now. Everything.
It's all computerized.
Yes.
Right?
They don't need the people like they had.
So
they let a lot of people go.
So what do you do for Andrew, like on a typical weekend?
He plays on his computer. We spend time with them. I make meals. Put him up at the supper table, and he eats, and then he plays with Grandpa. And then...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's so happy to come over, he cries when it's time to go home.
Yeah. Well, Peggy's been my caregiver for 12 years now.
11.
It'll be 12 years in October.
Right.
So.
Long time.
How have I grown in that since you've taken care of me?
Big time.
Yeah.
Before, when I was with you, you weren't walking, you weren't standing on your own, but you did transfer.
Yeah. So. And what do you think makes a good caregiver?
That's willing to try and put themselves... when you first go in, I'd like to know what I'm walking into, what kind of person it is,
yeah.
Any kind of details that I need to watch out for, the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And then I try to figure out how best to make them happy, how to get to know them, be their friend.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not an easy job. Caregiving's not for everyone.
No. Usually the younger generation, it's a little harder than them because they don't... There's actually work that goes with it. You got to do the house cleaning, do their grocery shopping, do their laundry, give them showers. They want you to talk to the client if they have so much problems they like to talk to you with, but we're not allowed to give out names because of the HIPAA laws.
Yeah. Yeah, and we both have plenty of stories.
Yeah, lots of stories.
I'm not mentioning any names,
Nope.
but there was a caregiver that I had, and I've talked about her, that dumped my urinal down, tried to dump it down the sink.
I can't believe when you told me that.
So.
I go, oh my goodness, that's very unsanitary.
And
then your sink has to be re-bleached, re-cleaned. It always goes in the toilet, never in the sink where you wash your dishes.
So.
Never.
So what would you say that the number one thing would be is to make sure that, because and some caregivers aren't always a fit to clients.
Right.
It just depends on the.
Me, I'm kind of, I liked everything clean. I don't like a dirty toilet. I don't like, because I treat their home like my home. Do I want a dirty home? No. So I make sure their home is clean. So I go out of my way to make sure certain things are done, to make sure it's sanitary, so they feel comfortable when they're at home.
Mm-hmm. How has, because you've been doing this for so long, how have you grown as a person from taking care of other people? Because I remember the first day I had you, they just threw you in there and they said,
yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure, and then I wasn't sure about.
You never gave a guy a shower before. So.
Well, except for my children.
Except you.
It kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. It's like taking care of your kids. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah. So, that first day, let's go back to that first day. Were you nervous when you see me? Because
yes.
You didn't know what you were walking into.
Right. I was at first.
But did they tell you, oh, he'll tell you everything?
No. He says, well, just play it by ear. And I told you when I come in, just let me know just walk me through it. I'm usually pretty good and I pick up on things pretty good, pretty quick. So just walk me through it and I can handle it. And you did.
Yeah, I did.
And after that, I was fine.
Because if somebody's nonverbal, then that's got to be hard.
Yeah, then you kind of got to guess.
Yeah.
But you usually always try to watch their reaction if it's something that bothers them.
When you go into a home, is there usually, not at every home, but is there usually a chore list?
No.
You know, why me of what needs to be done? In some homes there are.
Well, the people from the companies that I've worked with, most overall, no. But I'm the kind of person, I just go in and I clean and I ask them, is there anything special that you need me to accomplish before I leave for the day?
Yeah.
Is there something? And I'm usually pretty good on remembering what they need.
Yeah.
If they tell me this has to be done, this has to be done, and then I don't really have it, it's all in my head, I just remember.
Yeah. When you used to work for an agency, how many clients would you do in a day?
Sometimes I'd get 6 to 8 or sometimes 6, depending on if I have to go to clients for meds. I'm not there that long. If I'm there to go to the grocery store, if I'm there giving them it depends on what I'm there for.
You probably don't know this question, but maybe I can answer it. But what does it take to get certified for meds?
For meds, because I had that done already, you have to go to a class and get a certificate. And I went to the person that I worked for, she had it at her house. So a bunch of us were in this class and we took the class and passed. So I'm med certified.
Okay. It's kind of funny. Well, it's not funny, but sometimes they'll send a little caregiver to a short person, or a big person.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're not really paying attention when people have the schedule, who that person is. Now, I'm a small person. They sent me to a woman that's 300 to 400 pounds and expect me to lift her. I don't think so.
What did you tell the agency?
I told them after I was there, but I did take care of her. She had one of those hoists to take her to the bathroom, and you had to take the back end of the pads and try to yank her back up to her wheelchair. it was very hard for me to do because I'm a small person. And I told them that if I continue to do that, I'll throw my back out.
What would you tell a family that is maybe getting a caregiver for their loved one or something like? Because sometimes it's hard to trust a caregiver.
Right. It would depend if you go through an agency. Usually they talk to the person that they're hiring, and they're usually pretty good. Except there are some that they hire, they're not really sure what they're being hired for, because when they come in, they don't
really train them? Or?
No, they don't last very long. It depends. Sometimes they get trained. It depends on the situation.
Yeah. So, and we can talk a little bit about that. Like you've probably been in situations where caregivers haven't been trained.
Right.
How do you? Because you have experience. So how do you handle that? Like if somebody comes in and doesn't know what to do, you tell them and say, "Hey, this is what the client needs."
Right. Well, if I'm training them, I tell them, do this, do this, do this. Watch. I know they're there to learn, and I'd like to throw them in with them, but I like them to watch me do it first.
But you don't throw them in the fire right away?
No.
Okay.
I like them to watch to see how I'm doing it, so maybe they can learn from experiencing what I do, and they can do it their own way.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think there's such a caregiver shortage?
Because it's a hard job.
Because it's a hard job?
It's emotional, and it's a hard job. Usually the younger generation...
Well, I have a statistic I was reading on the internet before we started the show. 3 million people have some type of disease or condition, and 67% of caregivers get emotionally drained. You believe that?
That's because they feel... I feel empathy for the person. I feel them. Just like if I would... my grandson.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I love him.
Well, especially if you work 14 days straight and don't get a day off.
That wears you out.
So.
There have been many days I've gone home exhausted.
So. You even worked having pneumonia. I
do
believe. So.
Yeah. I never call in sick. I'm always showing up on time. And I had pneumonia one time, and my boss still made me go to work. Mm-hmm. And I even had a doctor's excuse. Until my daughter shamed him, and they sent me home.
Yeah. Would you like to share any stories without mentioning names about your 12 years of experience?
Like, there's a lot of them. I had a client that had mental a little bit because she took medication, and I had to take her grocery shopping and stuff, and she kind of got out of hand.
Yeah.
And if you ever feel threatened by a client, you don't have to take it.
No. Even if the boss tells you...
Walk away.
Or deal with it, right?
No, usually they tell you to walk away.
Oh, okay.
But I had this client, I was at Walmart, and she said some things, and she took her walker and was going to hit me. So I backed off, I called the office, and they told me to leave her there. But I couldn't leave her there because she wouldn't have any way to get home. Mm-hmm. But I told her right up front, we're leaving right now. I got your groceries. Let's go. Otherwise, they're going to call the police. So she went. And I wouldn't let her sit up front with me. I didn't trust her enough for that. But I made her sit in the back with the groceries. Because I wasn't going to take a chance of her hitting me while I was trying to drive.
Yeah.
So I did it for my safety, but I made sure that she got home safe.
Yeah, because you didn't want to just leave her there.
No, I couldn't. I'd feel bad about it.
So.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about too, if your new client or elderly adult living with a disability, and you don't know, and you just moved to Oshkosh, and you don't know where to go, you can always contact the ADRC with the Aging and Disability Resource Center. I do believe we have that slide coming up here in just a little bit. ADRC can forward you to the right program,
Right.
or agency out there in Oshkosh, or they can tell you about Iris, because Iris is a really good program. So,
Yes.
So, but anyways, so how do you deal with? Because I know you've been in this a long time. How do you deal with burnout? Because I know there was times where you were dragging.
Yeah. I'd need a day or two just to recoup, get back to myself, and then I'm fine.
Yeah. But you must have loved it when they would schedule clients, and I'm not mentioning names, agencies, when they schedule clients, but they wouldn't tell you. But you would see it on your tablet and be like, okay, where did that pop up?
Yeah. All of a sudden say, okay, I thought I was finished for the day, but actually I'm not. All of a sudden there was something. Now, if I wouldn't have looked on there, I wouldn't have known I had to go.
And if a client would have an accident and you were available,
Right.
would you go out of your way to help them?
Yes.
Yes. So.
Oh, yes.
So
I've even said that this lady needed to go to the doctor, but she couldn't schedule it during the time that I work.
Yeah.
I do it on my off time.
Do it on your off time. Yeah.
I take her, make a doctor's appointment, I take her on my off time.
Yeah.
I've done that many times. Then I wouldn't get paid for it.
So what aspects of the whole caregiving job you like, and what some things you don't like?
I have been treated badly by a couple of clients, but I took it a lot before I even said a word.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I like doing what I'm doing. And if there's ever a conflict, I like to work it out with the person to find out what's causing them to be upset.
Yeah. So, but what kind of things do you like to do, like being a caregiver? Do you like the cleaning part? Do you like the personal part?
I like the personal part.
Yeah.
Well, I make sure everything is really clean. I go over and above to make sure everything's nice and neat before I walk out the door. All the clothes is put away, hung up.
Yeah, but you're not just there for the cleaning. You're there
No.
for the person too. If they need,
Right.
If they need to talk to you, because they might be upset.
There's many times I've gone to a client that's crying. I always try to give her a hug to calm her down.
And some don't want hugs.
No, but I don't touch her unless they come to me for a hug.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to force myself.
Yeah. So.
I just make sure that their safety and their.
Do you like it when clients make progress?
Yes.
Yes.
Like what you've done over
What
the
I've
years.
done, yeah. I walked for 1,500 and some days. I know I got to get back doing it, but.
But when I first met you, you were never doing any of
No.
that.
It took you to leave for me to do that, and then you came back to me, and then I got you back. So.
Yeah.
What things do you like about Iris versus agency?
With you, we go and come and we speak. We don't have to go through an agency to get permission to what your times that sometimes it's different, whatever.
Yeah.
And this way we both know what we want.
Yeah. And it's flexible that way.
Right.
So.
And we don't have to get permission. We don't have to,
So. What kind of things would you like to see Andrew do? I mean, what kind of future would you like to see for Andrew?
Well, there's one thing I'd like him to learn is to at least be able to write his name.
Because that's something we talked about, right?
Right.
And I can't believe the school never even.
Never taught him how to write his name, no.
So. Did Tabitha ever talk to the teacher about that?
That I don't know.
Okay. So but that's key because.
Because what if something happens to my daughter?
Yeah.
And He's already got 2 jobs lined up for an interview to do.
Yeah.
And what if something happens to her and they issue him a check? How's he going to sign it if he doesn't know how to write his name?
Here's a question for you. How have you dealt with the loss of a client? Because I'm sure that you've lost clients over the years.
Yes.
So how do you deal with the loss?
It's hard. You go. We don't have to go, but I've gone to a couple of funerals that I cared about the person.
Yeah, because you've taken care of them for years.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
I was emotionally right along. Yes. Oh yeah.
Does it take long for you to get over the grieving process sometimes?
Just like losing part of your family.
Okay. So, let's see. What else would you like to see me do in the future? And see things for me to do. Goals or dreams or. Because I want to get a job.
Well, you're right.
So.
That's one thing I want you to be able to have a job, because you want one so bad. And
yeah, I want to work.
I mean, you have the skills, but there's people out there.
What would you tell an employer?
You shouldn't judge a person by how they look. It's what's in them as a person. You should let them at least try to show you that they can do it.
Yeah.
Accomplish it.
Yeah.
But people out there in this city doesn't want to give you that chance.
Yeah. So
that's shame on them.
Hopefully some employer out there will give me a chance someday where I can work and my daughter's my purpose, but give me more of a purpose.
Right.
So
that's what I look forward to. That would make my day.
Yeah, and then obviously, if I was to be able to walk independently someday,
yes,
that would shock you. That would really shock you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, then I'd cry. Yes.
Well, what if I came to the door and I said, "Hi, Peggy. Would you faint?"
Yes.
Hi, Peggy. But I'll keep working on those goals. So, but if you when you start out with a new client, do you always ask them, what would you like to do? I know we talked a little bit about it at the beginning. You always ask them, okay,
what would you like me to do for you? Can you tell me things that need to be done exactly? So that way I know in my head what I need to do, and then every day that when I do come, we can make up the list for grocery list, or if there's something special you need me to clean out, or you see something that's a mess that you want it straightened.
And some people like things done a certain way.
Yes. So I make sure I do it that way.
They're very particular on how.
And I do that. And there's certain things they don't want you to touch either.
So.
Yes, that they're very possessive of, and they don't want you touching it.
What would you tell somebody with a person with a disability that may be living at home with their parents, but yet they want to get out on their own? And maybe they want to have a caregiver. But they're scared to approach their parents, or they're scared to approach anyone.
Well, if they're living...
Because I love my mother, but she's very overprotective, and she did not want me to come to Oshkosh.
No.
So...
You had to talk her into it?
Yes.
So you could go to school?
Yes.
Well, she did that because she didn't want nothing to happen to you.
I know. But yeah, what would you tell the disabled person or the population out there that maybe even live in this city that want to try to dream, but they're afraid to speak
Give
up?
them a chance and the parents can come and check to make sure that their safety is okay.
Yeah.
But to give them the chance to try it.
Because you never know.
You never know. But if you see them struggling, then you can take them back.
Yeah.
But you should at least try to give them that chance.
Yeah. Because it's important.
Right. To the person, even though he's handicapped, he may not be handicapped up here. He may be very smart. And you shouldn't prejudge.
But a lot of parents do, and a lot of society does. So
yeah.
It's unfortunate. That's why we have a national... And as far as the work ethic goes, like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of caregivers that just get hired off the street that the employers don't do backgrounds for. I mean, they do, but they don't do well enough.
Well, I went to apply. That's the first thing they do before they hire you. Background
But
check.
sometimes I don't think they do them well enough because
That could be.
there's some really, yeah.
Yeah, because they do hire some different kind of caregivers that you never knew that they were doing certain things until it comes out later.
I mean, not too many people know this, and I don't like to share this on TV, but I was sexually assaulted by a caregiver. So, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not an easy thing to trust. You got to be able to trust your caregiver.
Right.
Because if you don't have trust, it's so
hard
important.
to communicate.
Yes. So.
But you trust me.
Yes, I trust you. But it would take me. I got sexually assaulted by a guy.
Right.
So it takes me a harder time to warm up to guys or to even have a guy take care of me. I would rather prefer women.
Right.
So.
Because it makes you very uncomfortable.
So.
That's because of that one person wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, out of respect, I wasn't gonna mention his name. So. But it's not easy for a family to trust. But you have to give that person hope, faith, love, and able to respect their respect their feelings. Because if they want to go out and try something, then you have to let them do it. Even though it may be so hard, you still have to let them dream and do it. Because if I can do it, then anybody can do it, as long as they have the capable. Their legs may not work, but their mind is just
fine.
Just fine. So, and that may be hard for some family members to see, or caregivers to see.
Right.
Because a lot of times, sometimes, the family will take care of their disabled child, and sometimes that can be a good thing,
Or a
and
bad
sometimes that can be a bad thing.
Right. But
Because-
sometimes they overdo it.
And then there's that caregiver boundary and parent boundary. What do you cross and don't cross?
Right.
You know, you don't want to lose them as a parent because,
Right.
or they might get upset with you. That's where you gotta have. That's a sticky situation.
Well, no, that's why you feel it out to see how far you can go. And if
Yeah.
you see that the person is not comfortable, then you back off.
Yes.
You have to back off.
You have to back off. Otherwise, yeah.
He's going to be upset with you. He or she may be upset with you.
Yes. So.
So you just got to go. You just kind of feel it out as you go. That's the way I've always been.
Yes.
But I usually back off and then I'll ask that person, I'm sorry. If I offended you or if I went too far, then I back off and make sure that the person's calmed down.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to do for goals in the future is to have my own accessible house, because that would make things a lot better for me.
Yes, and your family.
And my family. So that's another dream of mine. So in closing here, with about a minute something left to go, you said that you would like to see Andrew have a job.
Right.
What other things? We know he likes girls.
Yes.
What other things would you...
Oh, he loves girls at school.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want him happy. I just want him...
You just want his life to be happy.
Right. I don't want anybody to hurt him. I don't want him to come across anything like you did.
Yeah.
My daughter's very overprotective of him, and she does it because she loves him very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, Peggy. And thank you, Oshkosh. And like I said before, within the last 25 seconds, if somebody wants to try something, or if a disabled person wants to get on their own, this message is going out to a caregiver or parent. Let them try. You never know. Let them dream. Thanks, Oshkosh.
There. Good, I think.
Yes.